It's kind of funny if you think back like just a few years.
To 2023, 2024.
Yeah, exactly. We were all just completely floored that a computer could write what, a limerick?
It was a simpler time.
It really was. We
Yeah.
treated AI like this fun parlor trick. You'd give it a prompt, it would spit something out, and we'd all go, "Wow, that's almost like a human wrote it." But looking at the research we have for today, that whole era just feels ancient.
It really does. The main document we're looking at is called Beyond Chatbots, the AI trends that will reshape workflows in 2026. And the big headline here is that the chat UI, that little box where you type something in.
And wait for an answer.
Exactly. That's effectively dead as the main way we get work done.
That's a bold claim, right? I mean, we all got pretty addicted to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But the argument here seems to be we've moved on from the productivity helper phase to something way more structural.
That's it. We're not just asking for content anymore. We're asking for outcomes.
And that's the key distinction, content versus outcome.
It's everything. Generating content, that's a single step. An outcome, that's a chain.
Okay, let's dig into that chain idea because the source material really leans on it. It argues that real work is, well, it's rarely just one thing.
Right. Think about any standard business process. Processing a refund, launching a new feature, whatever. It's never just one action. It starts with intake.
Taking in the request.
Then you have to interpret the data, make a decision. Then comes the execution, the review, and finally some kind of follow-up.
And for years, the glue holding all those links together was, well, it was us, humans.
Precisely. Back in 2024, an AI might have helped with, say, the execution step.
Like draft this email.
Exactly. Draft the email. But a human had to see the request, decide the email was needed, prompt the AI, check the draft, and then actually hit send. The human was the workflow engine.
And the big shift we're unpacking in this deep dive is that the engine has been swapped out. AI isn't just a single tool anymore. It's the mechanic running the whole assembly line.
That is the core thesis. And for that to happen, the tech had to change fundamentally. Which brings us to, honestly, the most critical trend in this report, the death of the one big prompt.
Or as the engineers call it, multi-agent orchestration. Now, I got to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Please do.
We've spent, the last decade trying to flatten our organizations. We hate bureaucracy. We hate having 5 managers sign off on something. And now you're telling me the future is to create digital middle management.
It does sound a little counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It sounds like a complete nightmare. Why can't I just ask one super smart AI to do the project?
It comes down to context window and what they call drift. If you give one single model a massive goal like analyze these 50 files and write a market report, it tends to drift.
What do you mean by drift?
It starts strong, but by step 4, it forgets a constraint from step 1, or it hallucinates a data point just to fill in a gap.
So it's a single point of failure.
Exactly that. If that one model messes up, the whole output is basically worthless. Multi-agent orchestration, it mimics a good human team because specialization creates checks and balances.
Okay, so break down the squad for me. Who are the players on this digital team?
So the standard setup now, in 2026, usually has 4 distinct roles. First, you've got the planner. This agent doesn't actually do any work. It just breaks the user's goal down into a logical, step-by-step plan.
The project manager.
Basically, yeah. Then it hands off those steps to the workers. And these are specialized agents. One might be great at web research. Another is a Python coder. A third one does creative writing.
Right. You don't want your poet doing your math.
You do not. But here's the most important role, and this gets to your bureaucracy concern. It's the reviewer.
This is the one that caught my eye. An agent whose only job is to say no.
Essentially, yes. The reviewer agent runs verification scripts. It checks the worker's output against the original source data. It checks it against company policy. If the numbers don't add up, it rejects the work.
And sends it back.
Sends it back to the worker to fix.
So you're creating a feedback loop inside the machine itself.
Yes. And that is so crucial. Before, you were the feedback loop. You had to proofread the AI's draft and catch all the mistakes. Now, the system self-corrects before a human ever sees it.
And the orchestrator is the one managing all of this.
The orchestrator is the traffic cop. It routes the tasks, manages the state, and makes sure the data flows correctly from planner to worker to reviewer and back again.
Okay, let's make this real. The report uses a marketing report as an example. How does this squad handle that differently than a simple chatbot would?
Right. So, old world, you'd paste in some data and say, summarize this. New world, the orchestrator wakes up. The planner sees marketing report and lists the requirements. traffic, leads, conversion rates. It assigns the traffic section to a data worker agent.
And the data worker goes and pulls the actual numbers from the database?
Exactly. Then it drafts a little summary. But before you see it, the reviewer agent steps in. It compares the draft against the raw data file, and it notices, hang on, the draft says traffic is up 10%, but the source data says 8%.
And instead of just going with the mistake, it flags it.
It rejects it. It forces the worker to regenerate the text. Only when the reviewer gives the okay does the orchestrator compile that section into the final document for you.
See, that creates a level of reliability that we just didn't have before. It turns the black box into more of a glass box where you can see the system is checking its own work.
Correct. But making a report is still, at the end of the day, it's just pixels on a screen. It's information. The second trend is where this stuff really gets its hands dirty.
This is what the report calls digital labor.
Yes.
Okay, that term, digital labor, sounds a little ominous. Are we talking about AI taking jobs here or just doing tasks?
In this context, it's about AI actually using your business software. It's the leap from read this text to go into the CRM and update this specific record.
Whoa. Okay, that is a huge leap in permissions. Giving an AI write access to my company's database, that feels risky.
And it is risky if it's uncontrolled. That's why the report really emphasizes things like stop rules and very specific permissions. But just think about the friction it removes. The example they use is the healthcare referral scenario.
Oh, this one hit home for me.
Ah,
The absolute administrative nightmare of incomplete paperwork.
it's such a classic bottleneck. A referral comes in, but it's missing, say, one insurance card. Normally, a human coordinator has to open the file, spot the error, find the doctor's contact info, draft an email, send it, then set a calendar reminder to check back in a couple of days.
That's what, 20 minutes of administrative chasing for a 10-second problem?
Exactly. With a digital labor model, an agent gets that referral. It parses the PDF, identifies the missing field, and because it has tool access, it drafts and sends the email to the provider. Then it logs the interaction in the patient's record and sets the status to waiting for reply.
And the human coordinator.
They don't even know it's happened yet. They only get an alert when the reply comes in with the correct code and the file is finally complete and ready for a decision.
So the AI isn't making the medical choice. It's just clearing all the administrative brush out of the way so the human can see the path.
That is the perfect way to put it. It handles the chasing so humans can handle the deciding.
But this brings up a huge coordination problem. If you have agents chasing doctors and other agents writing reports and humans still having meetings, how does anyone keep track of what's actually been done?
And that is the chaos of the modern workplace, isn't it? Did you send that email? No, I thought the agent did it.
Well, I mentioned it in Slack. Why didn't the agent see it in Slack?
That leads us right into the next big trend,